Hey everyone, I'm here to talk to you about short films, and just to start off I'd like to read you a short extract which I might begin to kind of define short films from an essay I read by Raynard W. Wolfe. Yeah, he says, "The definition dilemma arises when we overlook the fact that short film is not a genre, description or category, but rather a generic term used ever since the early days of cinema to describe all possible forms and genres of films." Now what he's saying is, that we can, short films are a genre in their own right, and that they can then be divided into what's known as subgenres, so genres within genres. And so that means that when we can define short films, what we can do is, I thought what I could do is to help me and you to define short films, is I thought I'd show you different short films from different areas of the spectrum of short films, from different genres. So I've got a bit of comedy, I've got some strange things, I've got some horror, maybe I'll show you a bit of horror, suspense. There's a bit of suspense and horrors as well, but you can't really have so much suspense without the entire short film being suspense, which I'm going to show you an example of, which I didn't think personally was one of my favourite short films, but I've got some very good ones, and I've got a very, very clever one, which is the one I'm actually going to start with, and this is called Loop. And Loop, I'll put a link below for all of the short films that I mentioned in this video. And Loop is about a man who's living in a world that goes round and round and round and round. You'll understand it when you've seen the film, and I won't give too much away because I don't want to spoil it for you. Another short film I'd quite like you to look at, which I'm going to sort of talk about a bit, is this quite sad film called Paper Heart. Yeah, there's a link below, and yeah, it's about this father who can't really look after his son. You never can really quite understand why. So you spend the whole thing wondering, well, why is he like this? Why is he worrying about spending £10 on a bag for his son that his son's lost? And it just completely throws you that he's like that, and why doesn't his son respect him? And obviously, what's happened between his mum and his dad, and why are they not together anymore? So it's all kind of slightly depressing, so it is. So I don't know. I think that could possibly fall into the topic of domestic drama. It could be that genre, but it's also another film which you can't really put into a genre. And of course, this one's got a moral as well. I mean, this one, at the end, you find out why, and you realise that you should kind of be yourself around people, and that you shouldn't try and hide things about you that could be important for people, especially people who are your family, hiding something. And there's like that right at the beginning where they're having a sort of fight, and the woman comes over to see if he's alright, and there's that kind of break out of thinking, wait, what's actually going on? What's he done that's so bad that his son's trying to run away? So, yeah, I would recommend you watch it. It's a bit depressing. It's good. It's a good storyline. So I thought I'd talk to you about a film which I didn't think was so good, which I'm going to tell you right now, which is also quite a depressing film. It's also got that kind of genre, and it's called Open Skies. Now the issue with this is, I mean, it's got quite a sad kind of storyline. I mean, her son goes missing, of course, which is it's tragic in itself, but the problem is with this film, personally, I didn't find it. Of course, in a short film, it's difficult for you to connect with the character in such a short amount of time. But I didn't personally connect with either of the characters. It didn't really show very much about the relationship with the dad, and they just build sandcastles and stuff. And the fact that she's just fallen asleep on the beach, and then he's just gone. She wakes up. It's just quite unrealistic. I mean, people don't sleep for that long on the beach, and if you weren't even going to do that, someone would wake you up, and there'd be someone around. You're not going to go to a completely abandoned beach with your son and fall asleep. I mean, there would be someone who would wake you up. So it's just kind of like something unrealistic and which I don't really like about it. I mean, it was quite kind of sad, and it's slightly moving, I guess, but I mean, the bit where she's like going through the water, it was all very well filmed. There's no lie about the fact it was well filmed, and the way it contrasted the day, how nice it was, and the night when he's gone. But you never see if he's actually been lost, which can be quite good, kind of like you sort of mystified. Yeah, I don't know what's happened, whether he's actually missing, or whether he's just like, she just can't find him at the moment. So you know, it should be a bit rubbish really, because it's really kind of a faff about nothing. But then you kind of assume that he's not coming back, but then she doesn't go phoning and go, oh god, my son's missing, can you come help me find him? She just kind of wanders around and see screaming and stuff, which you would initially, and then you'd go find someone who would then come help you. But then if you can't get someone to come help you, you wouldn't take your son there anyway. So yeah, all in all, it's a quite unrealistic thing. And in general, I do love short films. I love them. I loved almost all of them. I've loved all the ones I've shown you, and the ones I'm going to show you, but not this one. This one was just, I just thought I'd put my point of view across that that I didn't really like this one. And someone else commented, hang on a second, I'll show you. Someone else commented underneath, this one's here, saying they preferred silent films, so this one felt a little sketchy compared to that, though similar. The opening shot reminded me of Barton Fink, Homage perhaps, and someone else just said not great. No, the second person wasn't quite so in depth about their feelings, but yeah. So the next one I'm going to show you is one I did a recreation of with my friends for my preliminary task, ancillary task, my task in general. My preliminary task, which is called My Beast Friend, which I think's quite fun. First time I thought it was just very witty. It's quite kind of interesting. You've never really seen a concept like that before. I haven't. I mean, you might have done, but I personally haven't. And especially in long films, you wouldn't really be able to keep that up for that long. I think like in just a short space of time, it's a very witty little concept they've got going on there. Very witty. But then if you kept it up for the whole film, you kind of think, well, I'm getting a bit bored of this now. It's not quite as funny as I thought it was at first. I mean, you might love it for the whole film, but in general, I personally would not really enjoy it as much as I would as if it was a short film. And of course, this is funny. Like I said before, it's funny and it works, and I just really like it. And I also hope that you enjoy the films that I've suggested you watch as a kind of basis of. So now I'm going to move on to another thing, which is the benefits and the difficulties of creating short films. I mean, rather than a longer film. So I talked a bit briefly about this before, so I'm going to go more into depth using the examples that I've given to you. Of course, Loop would not have worked as an film. I mean, it could have done if you'd extended the storyline, but because it was so shocking about how that happened, just so shocking, and it just over and over again. I mean, it's a bit kind of Groundhog Day, but then, only because if you've seen Groundhog Day, you know that he lives the same day over and over again. Even if you haven't seen it, you probably know that. Over and over again. Which works really well, so they could probably extend it into one of those things. But I personally think it's just, as a short film, it's just kind of, oh my god, I can't believe this happened, kind of thing. So I just personally think that's a really, really good short film as a short film. See what I mean? And of course, I've talked about Open Skies better as a long film. With longer film, if it's a longer film, of course, like I said, you can develop a relationship with the characters and you get feelings for them, which you don't have from the short film. I mean, of course, you don't really have feelings for the man in Loop, but you don't need it, do you? Oh, Rocket, short film. No, if it was a long, it's got good benefits. The benefits of it being a short film is that it's just cute, but it's just very funny. As a long film, I can't really see how you'd make that a long film. I mean, you can't have a dog building a rocket in an hour and a half film. It wouldn't work for me personally. I wouldn't find it very entertaining anymore. I mean, like, it's just a kind of one-time thing. You think, oh wow, that's so original, that's so good. because it is. But then as a long film, you kind of get a bit bored of it and thinking, nah, it's not so good anymore. Yeah, and Paper Hearts, as a long film, would have worked. I think it would have worked. I mean, you could have shown them before. I mean, it's a short film, it worked really well. Could have worked really well as a long film as well. I mean, if they wanted to take it that step further, they could make it into a long film. They could just have that as a scene. As you couldn't think of that as a whole long film because it would be quite unrealistic to think that you've been watching a film for that long and you had no idea that he's homeless. You'd have your little clues, like the fact you never see him go home. You'd probably pick up on there's something wrong. Yeah, that could be quite good. It could be quite suspensive. And think why is there not that father-son relationship there, and why is it not working? And then maybe that pretty much wraps it up for tonight's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Be ready for more of my posts, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it was all good. I made some. If there's any questions you can ask, hopefully I'll be able to answer them. But yeah, thank you for watching this entire thing. If you've watched the entire thing, I'm pretty impressed with you, so thank you. And yeah, bye.